Hello everyone and welcome back to the Wilds where the seasons are changing, time is passing, and Willow's cubs are quickly growing up. We're at year 10 months now with Willow, and I think the cubs are all 10 months as well. Yes, so they are getting they're getting pretty old. They're getting to be pretty close to ready to venture out on their own. Again, we're going to do that at a year because that's where the game tends to start us off. So when they reach that 12 months is when we're going to be concluding this series. And I don't know if that'll be this episode or the next one, but I don't think it's going to be that much farther off. We're also all up to level 30, I think. Yeah, everybody is at or a little past level 30. So I think Willow's feeling pretty good about how much she's managed to prepare. And it is winter right now. It doesn't look it. I think that the game world just maybe doesn't necessarily change all that much. So I thought there was snow in some parts, but maybe I was wrong about that. In any case, the weather is pretty cold at present. It doesn't again reflect on the temperature gauge yet, but this would be the dead of winter for them. So we're going to be continuing to let them run around, get some experience. I think we actually have a couple of quests. Yeah, we must have fought off whatever our previous quest was. I think I got one in the meanwhile. And it looks like Olive is once again hungry for some carp. I think Redwood had wanted one last time, so maybe we'll start off by heading down to the water here. First of all, are those foxes? No, those are raccoons, I think. They're pretty round looking to me. They look a little bit too chunky to be, to be foxes. So let's see if we can find that. Might be a fox. I think that is a fox. Is it? Yeah, it's a fox. A marbled fox. Uh-oh. Well, it's gonna be a marbled dinner if it's not careful here. Sorry, little guy, but we need to eat. Everybody's a little bit hungry, and we are gonna have to try to find some food. I see carp in the water here, so maybe we can fish that out? Maybe? Can we grab it? Can we grab it? I would like to... Yeah, I would like to... Oh, we killed it, I guess. Let's... No, don't eat it. Bring it back out so that Olive can have it. There we go. That's a little bit better. We should be able to finish that quest off as well. Can we drop this somewhere? Hello? Sometimes it doesn't like to actually set things down. Let's let Olive eat this carp. That should finish off the quest here. Yeah, there we go. And if we switch over to our quests, we've gained experience, which again, I don't think that does a whole ton, the pack experience, but it's still good progress. It's still good to, it's still good to earn. It still gives us a chance of, a sense of progression here, which is definitely something that these guys are doing, is progressing. I think we've gotten a new pack quest here. It looks like we've got another Forest Protectors. Alright, a wolf. We actually haven't seen a wolf in a little while here. There's crows, though, although I don't really feel like tracking them down. Well, I suppose we'll look around and see if we can find a wolf. They feel like they're usually pretty common here, but for some reason lately I haven't been seeing them. Naturally, it's going to be because we need to... That's a lot of deer. Oh my goodness. Naturally, it's going to be because we need to find one. Now we're gonna have a hard time doing it, but I suppose we'll look around and see if we can catch a glimpse of one of them. Well, there's a bear over there, but that's not quite a wolf. Oh, there's several bears over there. Okay, maybe we don't go that way. There's gotta be a wolf somewhere. I'm just astonished that we haven't seen one. Usually it feels like they're everywhere over here, but I guess not at this particular moment. I know we fought them, like, over here before, and that's an eagle! Oh my goodness, we've had so much trouble finding eagles for the longest time, and now all of a sudden that we don't need to find them, they're just all over the place. And the ravens earlier, too. Goodness. There's gotta be a wolf somewhere. I guess, too, how is it that we... Oh, we can... There's a whole... Oh my goodness. I didn't know we had a social wheel. Interesting. Okay, so we can do our vocalizations that way. How is it that it's like this? Okay. Well, I smell prey and I smell a bird, but no predators. Alright. Well, I guess maybe we'll head back in the direction of the redwoods and see if there's something more over there, if there's any wolves over that way. There are bears everywhere over here, and there's even another mountain lion, but we'll go ahead, we'll take this one down. I think at 26, that shouldn't be too challenging, considering how high of a level we are. Open redwood is helping us out, but still no sign of any wolves. We're getting hungry, too. We gotta find something to eat. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to eating a wolf, but if we could find one. There we go, finally. All right, let's regain some energy here. See if we can head over this way and probably take it down. It looks like it's alone, so that's good. A black wolf, okay. There we go. Oh, we didn't actually knock it down. Uh-oh. Okay, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be all right. It's gonna do some damage, but there we go. We've completed the quest. This will be a good lunch for us. May as well not let it go to waste. Is anybody else hungry here? Willow is up to 1 year, 11 months, so these guys are growing. I think it may not be too much longer before these two are prepared to set out on their own, which it's gonna be bittersweet, you guys. I'm really gonna miss having the whole family here together. We will have the chance to revisit. Oh wait, all is already full on food. We will have the chance to revisit these guys' stories and have them start their own, as well as returning to play more with Willow if you guys want to see that. However, when we finish out, we'll be doing a vote on which home we want to follow first, and this will be the last time we see all three of them together, either this or the next episode, depending on when they reach a year. So it will be sad to see the cubs go off on their own, but not necessarily the last that we'll see of them as individuals, at least. Well, time wears on, and Willow's birthday has rolled around. You can see the cubs are still 1 year and 11 months, but Willow is... that would be 2 years. I guess it displays a little bit funny, but 1 year and 12 months is 2 years, which means that the cubs are coming up on their birthday too. They were born just a few weeks after Willow's first birthday. And look at how huge Redwood is. Like, my gosh, this is Willow. This is his mom. He's massive. He is absolutely ginormous. Oh, he has truly grown up into a fine young lad, and Olive is growing up quickly as well. I think she might also be bigger than her mom. I think Willow is kind of small, but that does mean that this little family's time together is drawing to a close. All too soon, it'll be time for the cubs to venture out on their own, and that's where their own stories will begin. So at the end of this, we'll actually be having a poll over which one of them you want to follow, or if we want to go back and continue following Willow's story for a little bit more. That's not to say that we'll never return to any of the others. I'm also not going to chase that deer because I can't lock onto it. But we may still come back to their stories at some point, but we're going to have to pick which one we want to focus on in the next season, because we will be playing more of the wilds. However, we won't be going back to the cougar story right away either. We're going to jump around a little bit and introduce some new characters, perhaps, and maybe eventually some familiar faces who we haven't seen in quite some time, but there's a lot of other playable animals or even playable birds in this game, so I think it will be interesting to get to explore some of the others. That's a pumpkin. I was like, what is over here that's so bright orange? But that's gonna be something that we do in the future here. We'll probably be back to the wild sooner rather than later, but before we return to the cougars, it'll be a different story, and I already have some ideas that I am excited to share with you. Let's leave that bear alone. But honestly, 32 levels ain't bad. I think, yeah, Willow's at 31, Redwood and Olive are actually at 32. Why is that coming up? No, I don't want... I don't care about animal rank. Sometimes the GUI gets a little bit stuck at times. You can go ahead and bring down this deer, though. I think they've certainly shown their hunting prowess, although Redwood missed his attack. Oh no! Well, we should get another chance here to be able to take it down. Ooh, that was a powerful attack. Sometimes it just kicks in a little bit late. But that's some more good food for the growing young cubs as it just sinks through the soil. This game is great, but it does have its quirks and a few flaws from time to time. All around, though, still been a very enjoyable experience. But I don't think these guys are quite grown, so we'll give them a little bit more time to gain a little bit more experience before they bid farewell to Willow and head off on their own into the wide unknown. Oh, now that's a sign of the season if I've ever seen one. There's another cougar here with her cubs, although I think this time we will leave them alone. They're not really a threat to us at this point. Willow's probably going to move on and return to those are bears, to the redwoods anyway, because that seems to be her preferred environment. She likes the forest. She's not going to stay here for too long. She's been here for the benefit of the cubs because the wide open definitely it seems to help when it comes to learning to hunt. And learn to hunt these guys have been doing, but I do think that as they start to seek families of their own, they may set off in different directions. I imagine that Willow will make her return to the woods across the way there. Not the waterfall, but the forest on the other side. You can see some of the distant trees. Olive, I think, might choose to stick around out here. She really liked these wide open areas. It made it very easy to hunt, and I think that that's something she appreciated and valued quite a lot. There certainly is plenty of open space to run. It makes it quite easy to spot both prey and threats in the distance, although sometimes it seems a little bit sparse of either, to be perfectly honest. The forest felt more packed. But I think Redwood himself has a different calling. He really liked those mountains. He felt quite at home up there, and I think that's exactly where he'd return to when the time comes to set out on his own to survive in the winter and the cold up there, where I think the seasons might be harsher, but He seemed to enjoy it. He seemed to enjoy it more than staying down here. Whoa! Oh my goodness, there's so many deer around here. Wow. Well, okay, time for food, I guess. They're all scattering off. This will be plenty for all of us to eat. We're not gonna have to worry about food much at all. I guess this is a good chance too for the cubs to show what they have learned and to test their skills. Maybe we'll give Olive the chance to prove herself as well, as Redwood certainly has been demonstrating, considering that he's about to level up to level 33. I think he's going to be pretty well equipped to survive on his own. Alright, Olive. Now it's your turn. Let's see if we can land a blow. Ooh, that was a narrow window, but she made it. She landed that blow quite expertly. Oh, I guess she has set her sights on another one too, though. Oh goodness, we got a little bit stuck there. She didn't get the chance to target it, though. There we go. Bring this one down too. Not to be one-upped by her brother, I guess. She figured she would hunt both for herself and for Willow. Listen to that offended growl. Redwood knows exactly what she was doing. I think these two will miss each other in their own way, even though their paths aren't meant to keep them together. Oh, and we've got a new quest. Let's finish taking down this deer, and we'll investigate it, because Olive's still a little bit hungry. What is this quest going to be? Let's see. Oh, find a carcass. Oh, what do you mean you want a carcass, Olive? Now you're just showing off. She's like, oh, I've got all this deer. No, I want something different to eat. Oh, good grief. I think Olive does, for all her shyness, have a little bit of a feisty streak of her own. It's less brazen than Redwood's confidence, but she's got some sass to her, that's for sure. Well, Willow, I suppose this carcass should work for you. There's bears over there, though, as long as they don't decide to come over here and cause us problems, though. I don't see a reason to pick a fight with them. That said, bears are one creature that we could try playing as at some point in the future, get a bit of their perspective on the world, which is not something we typically see. Our stories often find us leaning towards the wolves' perspectives, but while we're here with the cougars, I think we're going to want to keep our distance. Looking for trouble is all too often a great way of finding it, after all. Well, this is it. The time has come. Redwood is 12 months old, and so is Olive. Their training here is complete, and they're now fully grown, which I don't know if that's quite accurate for cougars. I think it might be more of a 2-year situation, but this is what the game does. Holy smokes. Good grief. I'm just not over how absolutely huge Redwood is. I don't think Olive is quite that big. She still might be bigger than Willow, because I think Willow's a little bit on the small side. Yeah, I think she is a little bit bigger than her mom, but she's definitely not as large as her brother. However, these two certainly do look more than large enough, more than strong enough to venture out on their own, and that's exactly what we're going to leave them to do. This series will conclude here. So once again, there'll be a poll linked in the video description where you can vote on which of these guys you want to follow. Olive will be settling down in this area, and they all might move around depending on what the story calls for. But Olive will be starting off here, and this is kind of her preferred territory. Willow would be going back to the redwoods, and Redwood would be going up to the mountains. Now, there's a few differences between these stories as well, that being that Redwood and Olive will both be starting at level 1, I think it is, 0, I don't know if there's a level 0. Both of them will be starting off, though, as new characters, so they'll have to relearn all their skills, basically, as adults out on their own. They're going to have to get used to being completely alone, whereas Willow will be staying at the level that she's at, which could pose an interesting challenge of its own in that it will make it more challenging to raise cubs because they'll start at a much lower level and be dealing with much higher leveled enemies. So that could be an interesting challenge in its own right. Now, we're going to kind of do what we did with Shelter 2 with Redwood, because I don't think it's going to be very interesting to have him have a story all by himself, which is typically what male cougars would do. In his case, if he ends up being the one that's chosen, he will stay with his family, so that presents a little bit of a different story too, than kind of breaking the typical for the species and actually staying with his mate and helping to raise his cubs. So there's some different story options here, and of course the different personalities as well, with Redwood generally being a little bit overconfident and much bolder, and Olive being a little bit more shy and strategic. So with that said, that is where we'll be leaving this, and again, when we return to the wilds, it'll probably be with a different series entirely. I don't know when we'll be back to our cougars, but at some point I would like to return to them and continue on with their stories. So let me know what you guys want to see. Make sure to vote for that poll, and let me know what you like most about this series, who your favorite character was, if you enjoyed it and you want to see more, because this is definitely an exciting development in that we have another big animal game that, even though it's a little bit interesting, slightly glitchy at times, it's still quite enjoyable, and it's one that we can play generationally, and that's always a very exciting development for the channel, especially with how many different animals this one lets you play as. But with that, we're going to go ahead and conclude this series here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Jay, over and out.